Now this sure is a big video. We're going from micro setup to mini setup to large setup, from budget to mid-price to expensive. But don't worry, every setup and every version has its own chapter link in the description. So let's get right to it. First up, Saramonic SR-XM1, mini omnidirectional microphone that has its own tiny little shock mount. You can bend it to a 90-degree angle like this, which obviously is a prerequisite for this setup. So let's check out what we need. Number one, a tiny cable clamp like this with adhesive tape on its back. And then one of these bendy wires that come with about every charging cable, data cable, or cable in general. You will need one that is approximately 15 centimeters long. Now you could apply the SR-XM1 directly to the camera like this, and that'll work for a stationary shot where the camera, for example, is mounted on a tripod or in general isn't moving. But as soon as you vlog with the A6400 and you move the camera around rather quickly, the position of the microphone can change. That's a problem, and now we're gonna solve it. Cover comes off, and now place the little cable clamp in the lower right corner right there. Make sure it's closed before you do. So it sits just like this. Apply some firm pressure. To open it, you have to push it to the left a little because you can't close it like this. So that's how you close it. So open the little cable clamp, and then the bendy wire is applied like that. Now let's apply the SR-XM1 to the 3.5mm input of the A6400. Cross the cable once, like this, and then don't come here because this is where the shock mount is. Come down here. Then position the mic like this in relation to the camera body, and then fix it in place via the bendy wire. And there you go. You now fixed it in place, so it's not moving and will always point in your direction. The SR-XM1 comes with its own micro foam wind muff that will get you somewhat better wind protection than without it, of course. But if you want the best possible wind protection, I recommend a mini dead cat like this EWS 003 from EduTeach, for example. Apply it to the microphone, then secure it by pinching this little metal part and pulling on the string. Then take the end of the string and wrap it around the microphone so it sits like this. And there you go, a mini or really micro audio setup for your A6400, including wind protection and a fixed position. Now this is how I will begin every audio comparison. First, a little sample of the internal microphones of the A6400, with me being about selfie distance away and using my regular volume voice. And right after that, the external audio sample, so you get a better idea of how much of a difference it makes. So these were the internal microphones. Now let's switch to the Saramonic SR-XM1. Now this is what you're getting from the Saramonic SR-XM1, once again spoken into the camera from about selfie distance using my regular volume voice. The first thing is I could set the internal pre-gains of the camera to 10, whereas before with the internal microphones I had to set them to 25. So number one, you're getting a much cleaner audio. Number two, with the EduTeach Dead Cat, the EWS 003, you're getting much better wind protection. Next up, DJI FlexiMic 10-buck mic, super tiny, 3.5mm jack, and its own shock mount. Again, we're gonna start with this tiny cable clamp, so take the cover off, make sure it's closed, and place it in the lower right corner on the A6400 body, like this. Apply some firm pressure. Now in case of the FlexiMic, we need the mini dead cat from EduTeach, and here's why. Apply it to the microphone, then secure it like this. Now we need this microphone at a 90-degree angle, and we're gonna use the dead cat to make it happen. Microphone jack goes through here, and now this is approximately the position we need to fix the mic in. Again, we're gonna use a bendy wire like this one. A length of approximately 15 centimeters will make the installation easy on you. Bend it in half, apply the bendy wire like this, and close the cable clamp again. Cross it once before proceeding, so it looks like this. Position the mic correctly, and then use the bendy wire to fix the strap of the dead cat to the mic right there. It might take you 2 or 3 attempts to get it right, but once you did it, it should look a little something like this. To make the setup more tidy, also care for the end part of the little strap, and somehow fix it in place via the bendy wire. Final step, twist the ends and have them point backwards. And there we go, another micro audio setup for your Sony A6400, in this case with a shock mount that will even make this camera workable on a gimbal and excellent wind protection considering the size. Once again, before we test the DJI FlexiMic, here's a quick internal audio sample of the A6400, spoken into from about selfie distance using my regular volume voice. Once again, I have to level this to 25. Now let's see what we can do with the DJI FlexiMic. And now this is what you're getting from the DJI FlexiMic. Once again, spoken into from about selfie distance using my regular volume voice. Like with the SR-XM1 before it, I could level down the internal pregains of the camera to around 10. Which means, again, cleaner audio with the DJI FlexiMic than what you would get with the internal microphones. And also, since this is a very flexible mic that basically functions as its own shock mount, this will be a great option for using the 6400 with a gimbal, because motor noise will be significantly reduced, maybe even completely gone. Also, at around 10 bucks, it's definitely a budget option. Then again, with this setup, you do need the EduTeach EWS003 dead cat, so that means extra money. Next up, Rode VideoMicro. Really one of the standard go-to mics when it comes to budget on-camera audio. This is option 1, using a fitted L bracket like this one. This says A6500, but since the dimensions of the body of the A6400 are exactly the same, it will fit just fine. Now the one problem with an L bracket like this for the A6500 is that because the battery and SD card slot door of the A6400 is shaped differently, you can't open it while using this L bracket. Now should that bother you a lot though, of course there's always the option of using an unfitted L bracket like this one that you can apply to the camera body in exactly the way you need to. This way you can easily reach the battery and the SD card. However, it's not going to be as nice a look as with a fitted one because there's going to be a gap right there. Then again, it's definitely an option for you to consider because all the setups I'm going to show you will also work with an L bracket like this one. So this is what it looks like. Attached. Very important, you need to use one that has a 1/4" mount on the vertical part of the L bracket right there. Because we're going to use a screw-on cold shoe mount like this. That's how it needs to sit. The rest is super simple. Open the little door, plug the one end of the Rode VideoMicro's cable into the camera, apply the Rode VideoMicro to the cold shoe, secure it, plug the cable into the microphone's body, and there you go. This is how you can mount the Rode VideoMicro to the side of your A6400, vlog with it and not have it block the screen. Not even with the excellent Rode dead cat attached to the microphone. Also, even with the 1650 kit lens, the dead cat won't show up on screen. Now here's the second option. Should you already own an L bracket, but yours doesn't have the 1/4" mount, here's what you could do. You could use a tiny QR plate like this one that has a 1/4" mount on the back. Plug the cable in first so you know how to position the QR plate. Then slide this little QR plate onto the vertical part of the L bracket and then apply the screw-on cold shoe mount to the back of the QR plate. Apply the VideoMicro, secure it, and there you go. Mount it to the L bracket even if it doesn't have a 1/4" mount. Once again, before we test the Rode VideoMicro, this is a sample of the internal audio quality of the A6400, spoken into from about selfie distance using my regular volume voice. Again, the internal pregains have been set to 25 to get good audio leveling. Once again, I expect that we can set them down way more when using the Rode VideoMicro and get better and cleaner audio, with added wind protection of course. So let's do that. Now this is what you're getting from the Rode VideoMicro, once again spoken into from about selfie distance as you can see, and once again using my regular volume voice. Now I could level down the internal pregains compared to the internal microphones, but I ended up way higher than I expected I would. I ended up at 17, whereas I was expecting that I could level down the pregains to around about 10, like with the previous microphones. Still, we should have cleaner audio than what you're getting from the internal microphones, and of course the added benefit of excellent wind protection makes all the difference in a windy situation. Now let's say you own a Rode VideoMic ME, a standard go-to microphone for mobile devices because it has a 3.5mm 4-pole jack, so it is not intended for the use with cameras. Still, there is a way to hook it up to your A6400, and here's how to do it. Again, we're gonna use an L bracket for the A6400. Again, we're gonna use the screw-on cold shoe mount. Next up, a cable clamp like this that opens like that with adhesive tape on its back. Now the idea here is to slide the cable clamp into the cold shoe mount like that, so it opens like this, and make it a mount for the Rode VideoMic ME. In this case, it's already a pretty tight fit, which is the way it should be. However, should you use a different cold shoe mount, and this isn't a tight fit from the get-go, you should apply a couple of layers of tape to the back of the cable clamp to make it a tight fit, because this really shouldn't be wiggly at all. Now take the back part of the VideoMic ME off, and now place the end of the Rode VideoMic ME into the cable clamp like this, so the jack points downwards. This is already a tighter fit than you would imagine, but here's how to make it secure. A tiny rubber band like this works perfectly. Wrap it around the cable clamp right here and right there, and do that 2 times. So it looks like this. And now you have a super secure fit. Now to hook it up to your camera, you need a special adapter cable that will adapt a 3.5mm 3-pole jack to a 3.5mm 4-pole input. So this cable goes right there, and then this end is plugged into the Rode VideoMic ME. Let's put the dead cat on, and we're good to go. Rode VideoMic ME successfully installed and usable with the A6400. One problem though, if you mount the VideoMic ME exactly like that, because it sits further this way than the Rode VideoMicro did, when using the Rode dead cat, it will show up on screen if you're using the kit lens. So here's what you could do. You could use one of those synthetic foam wind muffs that will also perfectly fit the VideoMic ME, but are less big and therefore won't show up on screen. Or you could get one of those Rycote foam wind muffs and cut it to the right length. Then apply it to the VideoMic ME and use it as a wind muff. Or you use the second option. Apply the cable first, tiny QR plate with a 1/4" mount on the bottom, slides onto the vertical part of the L bracket, secure it so it doesn't strain the cable. Screw-on cold shoe mount goes right there. VideoMic ME slides in like this, connected, and there you go. Once again, installed to the A6400 using an L bracket that doesn't feature a 1/4" mount right there. And now, since the VideoMic ME sits further this way, using the original Rode dead cat is not a problem anymore using the kit lens. It won't show up on screen. Of course, the other option, the synthetic foam wind muff, is still viable, but it doesn't fit as perfectly as before because the little QR plate blocks it a little. The Rycote foam wind muff, of course, is no problem at all. Alright, you know the drill. Once again, this is a sample of the internal microphones of the A6400, spoken into from about selfie distance using my regular volume voice. Again, internal camera pre-gains leveled to +25 in a somewhat windy situation. Now let's check out what the Rode VideoMic ME and the Rode dead cat can do for us. Now this is what you're getting from the Rode VideoMic ME and the Rode dead cat. Once again spoken into from about selfie distance, again using my regular volume voice. With this one I could level down the internal pre-gains of the microphone to 12, which means it gives you even cleaner sound than the Rode VideoMicro, which is a little surprising because the build pretty much seems the same. Apart from the fact, of course, that the VideoMicro is for cameras and the VideoMic ME is for mobile devices. Also, the added benefit of wind protection again makes all the difference when it comes to windy situations. Now before we proceed with the mounting options, here's another microphone option. This is the Movo Mic Mini shotgun from Mic W. It's an excellent choice if you're in the market for a small, compact microphone that gives you super clean audio at round about $100. The only problem with this one is, because of the way it's constructed, you probably have to reposition the cold shoe quite a few times. But once you applied it correctly, it's well worth the time. It also comes with its own little dead cat and has a little shock mount. Alright, we're back to +25 on the internal pre-gains because this is an internal audio sample of the microphones of the A6400. As you might have guessed, spoken into from about selfie distance using my regular volume voice. Next up, a very special little microphone. the VideoMic Mini shotgun from Mic W. So this is what you're getting from the VideoMic Mini shotgun from Mic W. Selfie distance, regular volume voice, you know the drill. With this one I could level down the internal pre-gains of the camera to an all-time low as far as this video is concerned, which is an 8. We're getting exceptionally clean, high-quality audio from this microphone considering it's tinier than a lipstick and doesn't have a pre-gain or a low-cut filter. If you can pick one up, because I believe it's no longer in production, definitely do so if you're in the budget for a microphone that costs you around about $100. Also, it comes with its own mini dead cat, which is just a fur version, not a foam-fur combination like with the VideoMicro or the VideoMic Me. Still, it makes a lot of difference in such situations and you're gonna be happy you have it. Now let's say you want to bring out the big guns. This, for example, is the Takstar SGC-598, an excellent budget shotgun microphone. It comes with its own low-cut filter, a plus 10 decibel pre-gain, and it runs off of a simple AA battery. Once again, L bracket goes on first. Now if you don't intend using extra wind protection, which I do recommend, you can proceed like this. Screw-on cold shoe mount goes right there because there's a 1/4 inch mount and you will need to apply it vertically like this, and then simply slide the Takstar SGC-598 into the cold shoe mount. Secure it, and there you go. Takstar SGC-598 on your SONY A6400. However, if you do want to use wind protection, we have to go a slightly different route. Now this version uses the same L bracket and is also useful if you own an L bracket that doesn't have this 1/4 inch mount, because we're going to use a tiny QR plate like this one with a 1/4 inch mount on the back. This one slides right onto the vertical part of the L bracket. Secure it so that there is enough space for you to plug in the microphone later. Then apply the cold shoe mount onto the back of the QR plate, once again in a vertical fashion. Plug in the mic, and now, since it sits further this way, you can use a fur wind muff. This is one from Saramonic. It's not intended for use with this mic, but it still fits perfectly. Simply slide it on top of the foam wind muff that is already on the Takstar SGC-598. And there you go. Excellent wind protection, a directional quality audio, a 10 plus decibel pre-gain, and a low-cut filter on your A6400. However, should you not like this look, there's a third option to mount the microphone. Using a 1/4 inch to 1/4 inch screw adapter, 2 mini ball heads on top of each other, and a 3/8 inch to 1/4 inch thread reducer. 1/4 inch to 1/4 inch screw adapter attaches to the bottom of this mini ball head. The 3/8 inch to 1/4 inch thread reducer goes right there. The mini ball head is attached via the 1/4 inch to 1/4 inch screw adapter to the vertical part of the L bracket. Then the microphone is screwed onto the second ball head like this. Now you plug in the microphone, and then you use the ball heads to position the microphone like this. And because using 2 ball heads allows the microphone to sit further back, it doesn't show up on screen when using the kit lens. Once again, should your L bracket not feature a 1/4 inch mount right here, use a mini QR plate like this one with a 1/4 inch mount on the back. Slide it onto the vertical part of the L bracket and position it so you can still plug in the microphone. 1/4 inch to 1/4 inch screw adapter, 2 mini ball heads now fit the back of the QR plate, and from that point on it's exactly the same as before. Once again, we're back at plus 25 on the internal pre-gains of the camera, which means this is an internal audio sample. Again, as always, I talk into the camera from about selfie distance using my regular volume voice. And now, in direct comparison, let's check out the Takstar SGC-598, including the Saramonic fur wind muff. So this is what you're getting from the Takstar SGC-598. Selfie distance, regular volume voice, as always. I'm using the plus 10 decibel pre-gain and the built-in low-cut filter. With this one, I could again set the internal pre-gains of the camera to an all-time low, which is good, and it was 5. This is probably the best budget shotgun microphone that I know of, considering it's below $40 and that's the audio quality it delivers. In combination with the Saramonic fur wind muff, it also gets you excellent wind protection. So, if you're in the market for a budget shotgun microphone for vlogging, you might as well check out the Takstar SGC-598. And now, to wrap this video up, here's all the options you need to mount the Rode VideoMic Pro. The standard legendary shotgun mic for vloggers, if there ever was one. Low cut filter, plus 20 decibel pregain, and we're gonna use it with a nice dead cat. Starting with the L bracket, of course. At first using one that features a 1/4 inch mount on the vertical part, 1/4 inch to 1/4 inch screw adapter, 2 mini ball heads on top of each other, 3/8 of an inch to 1/4 inch thread reducer, 1/4 inch to 1/4 inch screw adapter attaches to the bottom of this mini ball head. The mini ball heads attach to the 1/4 inch mount on the vertical part of the L bracket via the 1/4 inch to 1/4 inch screw adapter. 3/8 of an inch to 1/4 inch thread reducer. Screw it into the bottom of the cold shoe mount of the VideoMic Pro. Also, I believe the VideoMic Pro by default comes with at least one of these, so check your box. Then the microphone screws onto the top end of the mini ball head. Let's plug in the microphone before positioning it. And there we go, big Rode VideoMic Pro on tiny SONY A6400. Low cut filter, plus 20 decibel pregain, shock mount, and never shows up on screen, not even when using the mic cover dead cat. Second option, this option will give you a different look and will also come in handy if your L bracket doesn't feature a 1/4 inch mount on the vertical part. Once again, we're gonna use this tiny QR plate with a 1/4 inch mount on the back. It'll slide right onto the vertical part of the L bracket, and we're gonna fix it in place so later on we can still plug in the microphone. Screw on cold shoe mount. We have to attach it to the back of the QR plate in a vertical fashion and then slide the Rode VideoMic Pro into the cold shoe mount and secure it so it sits like this. Not as versatile as the option with the 2 mini ball heads, but in my opinion it's the way cooler look. And since it sits way out there, using a fur wind muff is no problem at all. It'll never show up on screen when using the kit lens. So here's another internal audio sample of the A6400. Internal pregain set to around about 25, which means I leveled this to about selfie distance using my regular volume voice. As the next microphone, we're gonna check out the Rode VideoMic Pro. It has a plus 20 decibel pregain and a low cut filter. It is basically the standard legendary go-to shotgun microphone for vlogging. So let's check out how much of a difference it makes compared to this internal audio. So currently the internal pregains of the camera are set to 1, which is exactly 1 above 0, which means no audio at all. I can only do that because of the excellent plus 20 decibel pregain built into the Rode VideoMic Pro. I'm also currently using its built-in low-cut filter. It is the most expensive mic out of all of the ones that I've shown you, but it also gets you the best audio quality. It comes with its own foam wind muff, but I'm also using the mic cover dead cat, which is fitted to the Rode VideoMic Pro, and this combination really gives you great wind protection. So, if you liked the video, if you found it helpful, please make sure to leave a thumbs up, it's greatly appreciated. Any kind of comment or feedback is welcome and I'll try to answer as quickly as possible. All the tech that I've used in this video is linked in the description. As always, thank you so much for your time, thank you for watching and hopefully see you again soon.